I invited Uli to come to Pakistan, and Uli happily agreed. She traveled to Pakistan. She was at Karachi, and then she kept on coming along with her husband Hans. So she has visited multiple times, I think 4 or 5 times. She has been in Karachi at Gujranwala. And Uli is an entrepreneur. She's a founder herself. She's a woman entrepreneur. She has been doing a lot of interesting things, and she loves natural, organic. I think she has a hut as well. You have a hut near the sea, is it?
I have what?
Hut, HUT, hut. Do you live near the sea somewhere as well in Bangkok, in Thailand? You spend.
Yeah.
Oh, great. And she can speak German. She has been in Thailand, I think, for more than 10, 15 years. And uh, she is a professor right now at Bangkok University. I have been there, and this is Bangkok University, very beautiful and
Yeah,
futuristic
that's the backdrop inside.
side. So, and it has many international students. And there was something in common. I was in Bangkok for like 93, 94. So Mara Saba in 93, 94, I was here in this city for 2 years. And it's a vibrant place. Thai people are very humble people, and it's a lot of rain takes place here. And in terms of, so on the invitation of Uli, then I traveled to Bangkok. I don't remember the date, 2016, I think. Then we had the summer school, 15 or 16.
15.
2015, Professor Uli had that summer school. So that is a collaboration, learning from each other, and which I like from these people, Hans and Uli. They are very humble people, loving, caring, and they are helping hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people in their careers. So, on our special request, she will be sharing her thoughts today. So, we have this is a the course which we started during COVID in at IBA Karachi, and later we have made it more open. So, many people from across the world, mostly Pakistanis, they are here. Their mothers and fathers and grandmothers, retired officers. Rashid Mahmood is a retired naval officer, and he has been moving around in the Navy for most in the seas. So there are many people who are in this course who want to do something interesting in their life, in their careers, and uh, and that's why when I we have Hava is from Finland. She is doing her PhD. Hava, you know, this name Hava, Adam and Eva. So that is, so we have Dua is a dental surgeon student. She's studying in the first year. Dr. Jadoon from Saudi Jeddah, he is a PhD in finance. And then we have our religious scholars, Mufti Sohail. Mufti means a person who gives a decree on a religious matter. So he's a religious scholar, and so on and so forth. So a lot of other people will be joining us. So over to Uli. Uli,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks for introducing me. And you asked me to talk about the entrepreneurial mindset, and this is also one of my favorite topics, I have to
And
say.
you are
And
free to talk whatever you like, and people will be happy to.
yeah, I don't know what you covered already or not, and but I also prepared some slides to
Yeah, yes,
introduce me to those people who don't know me.
yes.
And now I haven't been on Zoom for.
Make it.
Oh, I cannot share.
I've given you have given co-host. Okay, now you can do that.
Okay. It's a long time since I've been on
Okay.
Zoom.
Oh,
Okay, here, wait, it should work.
yeah, it's coming.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
okay, let me push us to the side somewhere. Okay, maybe this works to put us down there. Okay, yeah, I'm going to introduce myself first. Maybe I can close this, I think. Yeah. Perfect. I remember. Okay, you introduced me already, Bangkok University, and the research project we were talking about at the beginning is the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, to the right, GEM. where we look into activities, aspirations, attitudes of entrepreneurs, and we collect at Bangkok U the data of the Thai entrepreneurs. So it's a global research, the largest global research project. But my background is entrepreneurial, and actually my first job was in Finland after I studied. So I was working in Finland, and after I came back from Finland, I started my first business when I was 25, and that was a pottery because I studied ceramic design. My first degree was ceramic design. And a year later, I entered the family business, which was brick manufacturing, and we were fourth generation in this family business. And it's a very competitive industry where you definitely develop that entrepreneurial mindset or you're out of business. So it was a competitive industry for the full 25 years that we ran that business. When we exited, we sold, and because we didn't have successors. And so in this competition, the mindset to love competition is also part of the mindset for me. And I'll come to that right at the end of my session a little bit more. But we made a very strategic decision at some point when we had 40% revenue drop in a year, 40%. And we thought we were the only ones in the industry, but later we learned that we were still good with 40%. Others had 60, 50 more, but we were quite desperate. And so we made a strategic decision to what should we do? Where are we good at? Where should we expand? Where should we focus on? What should we kick out of the production? What are we good at? That's the main point. And what does the market need? And where is our market niche? And we picked a niche. And this niche is sewer bricks. This is the canals that are below Frankfurt Street. This is Frankfurt Main, the city of Frankfurt, and all the cities in Germany, not only in Germany, all over Europe. Also in I know from India, they have it as well. They have it in many countries. They use bricks, traditionally bricks for the very large canals like those that are 3 meters high and 4 or 5 meters wide. And we became market leader in that niche with a 40% market share. And in Germany, 40% and 100% in the Czech Republic because there was nobody. And so it was a very good niche because our competitors didn't see our bricks because you have to imagine that it's all below our feet. So they're just we deliver them and then they take them in through the manholes and then they're down there. So the competition never knew where our bricks were. They just knew we were producing, selling, but most of them didn't even notice where do they sell to, because they were not aware that this was a very large niche. And in that business, and here I come to the mindset. In that business, we had to change things in production, and we had to push in. We have a kiln where we push the bricks on kiln cars slowly through one by one through the kiln. And we had to push, for quality reasons, 25 centimeters deeper into the kiln. Our machine couldn't do that. So we needed a new machine at the entrance of the kiln. And this machine was €1 million, which we didn't have because we need two machines, one at the beginning, one at the end. And we said, okay, we can buy a used machine. This is okay. It's all metal, but we need the control system to be new. And we had this idea in the 1990s, beginning of the 1990s, that you could actually put a PC into the production. At that time, there was no PC in the production. And if there was, it was a highly expensive industrial PC. And we went with that idea to the supplier and we said, here, that's our idea. We want to control with a PC. Easy to control. Everybody can control with that PC. And the supplier said, this is not possible. The PC is too slow. It cannot do that. And we had a roughly 5 hours drive back, 3 people, my husband Hans, my brother, and me. And this guy said, this is not possible. And this is you don't tell that to an entrepreneur, because if you tell that to maybe a manager, they say, okay, it's not possible. So I
Uli,
have to buy that new machine. But we said it has to be possible. And with every kilometer, every minute, every hour that we were driving, we were more convinced that it is possible to put the PC in the production and to control the machine with a PC. And when we were home, we said, okay, we're going to do that by ourselves.
Uli, excuse
Now,
me, your slides are not changing. Yeah.
I know they're
Okay,
not
okay, okay,
changing.
okay, fine, fine. Okay.
and and my husband, an engineer, my brother, a banker, and me, ceramic designer. And we developed the software by ourselves. And we did not only control our machines, easy, simple. We ended up selling the software to the automotive industry. And we ended up controlling these gluing robots, the dosage of glue or sealing material on the head of the robot. And so we three co-founded this third business where we produced this software. And so actually, I just want to point out, this is not possible, triggers something in an entrepreneur. And I'll come to that. What is it that makes it different? And if we ask, we get that question very often, is it the skill set or the mindset that matters most? We always found that the mindset is why we hire people, because the skills we can train, the skills we can practice, and then it works. But the mindset is very hard to change. You can change mindset, but it is not that easy. And it is a lot more complicated, especially if you have more than one person to concentrate on. And so I think the mindset is for everybody in business, no matter if they're entrepreneur or not, what makes the difference for an employer. And whether it is conscious or subconscious, our beliefs that we have in us affect what we want and whether we are successful or whether we succeeded it. Much of what we think we understand comes from the mindset. And so an entrepreneurial mindset, I think I have to close that, is an essential life skill, in my personal opinion. It's an orientation. It is a way of thinking and acting, and it allows us to navigate uncertain times. And when we, there's always these pop-up windows. How do I get that? Okay, oh shit. Okay, if we can predict a goal, we do that all the time in business. And we start at some point and we start on our way, we lose a little bit of track, and we get back on plan and we reach that goal. That is fine, that is okay. We can do the same and we get a little bit more off the track. We don't go back on plan, but we still reach the goal because we stay on target. That is predictable. And this is what happens in businesses all day long. But there's something that Babson calls creation. And this is a different way. We have that goal, and on the way we discover that maybe this goal is not the right thing. Maybe the goal has to slightly change. And so we find a better goal, let's call it better goal, a different goal, but something that's a little bit more perfect. And on the way to goal number 2, we discover that maybe we can reach something else and we come to goal number 3. And by that, we created something else, a new goal, not the goal. And both of these ways to go forward to reach goals are okay. It just depends on the situation in which you are in. And so they're very different and they reach different things. But what if there is an obstacle on the way? Something happens. And the pandemic is actually was one of that unforeseen big obstacles for many businesses. And I use the brick wall here because of the brick background, is that if you stay on target or if you get back on plan, you will not be able to get over that wall that is in the way, over that obstacle. And if you encounter that brick wall, and you're able to create something, to experiment, to find a way around that brick wall, you will reach a different goal. And when we got that answer, not possible, it's like this brick wall, not possible. We were thinking about how can we do it? And actually we ended up creating not only our own solutions, we had our own software in many places, on the kiln, in many places at the end, but we also ended up selling it, or becoming automotive, like technology partner for Daimler Chrysler at that time, and reaching a completely different product, which would not have been possible if we had just accepted that it's not possible. And it is the idea to recognize, to identify opportunities, to focus on what's the impact, and to create value no matter which context you were in. And if I see the two ways, creation and prediction, the prediction works perfectly when we can predict the future. When we maybe have a history, when we are an established business and we might have a rule of thumb already, but when we cannot predict the future from the past, when there's uncertain times, for example, the pandemic shutting down businesses from one day to another, it's the only logical choice in extreme uncertainty. And it favors what is real, what is confirmable, and it changes your reality or your opportunity when you act. Small, smart steps. And we know that serial entrepreneurs usually create and go forward. And so it's two logics that we can use. We can really go with both of them. And the entrepreneurial mindset, or the entrepreneurial mindset, it's actually quite a topic in research at the moment as well, because how do we teach an entrepreneurial mindset is something that is currently being worked on. And I'm also working on a research project for myself, to try to find out what works and what does not work. And there are three key elements: curiosity, connections, and creating value. And curiosity is to be curious about anything out there, about the changing world, about, having a contrarian view, to accepted solutions like you cannot do that, it doesn't work. No, it has to go somehow. To connect information also from various sources, to gain insight. And I don't know who of you still remembers this machine. Anybody has an idea what that is? I mean, I still use it in my business. It's outdated, it's gone, right? It's a telex machine. It was early, very expensive way to send messages internationally before we had the internet and everything. But it's gone. But the company, this is Siemens, the company is still there. So they embraced curiosity at some point because technology changed, and they didn't say, okay, we have this machine and we'll sell this machine and that's it. So they continued. And if businesses didn't have this curiosity and responding to changes, they wouldn't come up with new ideas, language translating eyeglasses, for example. And interestingly, this Mars rover, who was the first to explore Mars, in NASA's Mars mission, his name is Curiosity. And so that is one point that is part of the entrepreneurial mindset. I think that's a very important point, because being curious about everything leads to the second point, the connections. And if you hear something over there that is not related to your business, something new you hear, how can you connect that to something in your business? What can you do with it? How can you generate an idea with it? Because the solutions today, they might be, gone tomorrow. And so even our students, we need to somehow teach them how they investigate with this world with curiosity, to generate ideas, to find concepts, and to go forward. And creating value, I don't want to talk too much about that because I think that's pretty clear that we need to understand our stakeholders. We need to have a positive impact, and we need to come up with innovative solutions where we create extraordinary. And I think extraordinary is the word here, value for others. And so value creation is the third one. And it is value to the owners, to the employees, to customers, to any stakeholder that is out there. And I just put this picture, but I don't want to go into the business model canvas here, but we teach students value proposition, but we need to be very much aware that we can find value for the customer only if we talk to them, only if we really investigate, ask the why, deeper and deeper to find out what's really their problem in order to solve it. And I found that very helpful to find solutions for customers where we didn't know they had a problem. A way a brick is produced for 100 years doesn't mean you can slightly change the production, the way of production, in order to find a better solution for that customer, because they were just using it 100 years because it was like it was. But we did small changes, the way we produce the bricks, to make them better for the customer. And this is possible without sacrificing anything, but having a happy customer who doesn't perceive to have a pain every time he looks at your product. And what has to do with creating value a little bit, in my opinion, is passion. You need to know your passion. And for the students, I find it very sad, actually, that some of them are really not aware of their passion. And so there are multiple ways to show it to them. And we also do exercises I cannot do here because they work in class. But one thing is ikigai. I don't know if one of you knows ikigai. It's a Japanese concept. Anybody knows what ikigai? Maybe you were also teaching. So ikigai means a reason for being. It refers to something that gives a person a sense of purpose, a reason for living. And it consists of 4 different elements that overlap. And this is the normal entrepreneurship. 2 elements, the simple traditional entrepreneurship. I'm good at something and I'm getting paid for it. That's enough to become an entrepreneur. It changes already if we put the needs of the world into that equation, the third ball here. We're good at something that the world needs and we're getting paid for it. This usually is in the direction social entrepreneurship. So there's a big overlap between the 2 sections anyhow. And then ikigai adds a 4th one. That's the love. We're good at something, we love to do it, and the world needs it, and we're getting paid for it. And what is important to see that those are the overlaps. And this is where we can really find out, and students can find out, a business that they actually have the skills, but it's also their passion. They love it. The world needs it today, more important than pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, more and more important. And they're getting paid for it because, so what you love, what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you can be paid for. And in between the overlaps, you see the passion, mission, the vocation, the profession, all of them are good, important, but still something is missing. If you only have the vocation, you miss out on the impact of what is love because it's missing. So we have these gaps. If we don't have all 4 of them, some tiny piece is missing. And with that, I come back to how do we build a different mindset? First of all, we need to become aware what kind of mindset do we have. Normally, we have a lot of different mindsets. I don't know, someone's painting. I don't know if I can delete it, but let's see. I'll see. Build a growth mindset. So Now think about something. Let me see. How do I get to my, okay, that you always wanted to do, but you haven't done it yet, or you haven't started it yet. So anything, a language you wanted to learn, a sports you wanted to do, I don't know, travel to go somewhere, but you haven't done it yet, and you also haven't started it yet. And then ask yourself the question, why? Why did you not succeed doing it? And I think you'll come up with a lot of reasons. Didn't have the time, maybe didn't have the money, didn't, my family came first, whatever it is. We have a lot of good reasons why we didn't do it. Actually, we would all be able to start it if we really, really wanted it. And this, why we didn't do it, these reasons, they just keep us in a zone where we are like that rock to the left. And we're not developing like a plant, like a tree. We're not growing. We're just static. And what that stands for is the growth mindset is the plant, that the growing, learning new things, challenging yourself. And the fixed mindset is we're fixed. We're already static. We cannot change anything. And sometimes we call it comfort zone. The things we know, that's the static zone. That's the zone where we just live comfortable, but we do not learn. We do not stretch ourselves. We do not challenge ourselves. We do not learn new things. The view of ourselves, if we change the view of ourselves, can determine what we can be. If you believe that your qualities are unchangeable, that's the fixed mindset, then you will want to prove yourself correct over and over rather than learning from a mistake. And you're more constrained by your thoughts, by your beliefs. Those are the people who say, oh, they are born with that talent. And every person has different abilities and a different intelligence and cannot get better with time, with persistence and effort. That's the fixed mindset. And failure is validating that I'm not intelligent, for example, or I cannot do it. I told you I cannot do it. If I fail, I told you. That's failure for them. They give up easily and they fear. But what we want is we want to have that stretch zone. We do not want to have, also not in a business, we do not want to have people in the panic zone because they're stressed out. Their performance goes down, they're overwhelmed. If they are in the panic zone, if this is too much for them, we need to get them back into the stretch zone. And I cannot do polls here, but I can ask, maybe you can raise your hands. Maybe I can stop. Oh, there's something in the chat, sorry. It doesn't. Yeah, we can share the slides. Is that okay afterwards, or you want to have them now?
Okay.
Afterwards, madam.
Afterwards. Okay, fine. Let me ask you 3 questions. How would you feel? Maybe we can do, you can maybe type it in the chat. Maybe I can see it there. How do you feel if you have to ride a bicycle? Do you feel you're in the comfort zone? Or do you feel that it is a stretch already? It's a challenge a little bit, or you in panic zone? Let me see. I can see the chat. You can write 1, 2, 3, or 1 is comfort zone, 2 is stretch, and 3 is panic. Comfort zone, stress, comfort zone, comfort, stress.
Challenge.
2, challenge, panic. Okay, we have everything. It is a bit risky, comfort zone. Now, those who are, okay, if it's an empty road, okay. Yeah, I can imagine I wouldn't want to drive a bicycle in Karachi either, even though I like to ride bicycles. Okay, now, if you had to run a marathon, if I ask you to run a marathon, comfort, stretch, or panic? Challenge. Panic. Okay, panic. Some panic people. Stress. Panic. Oh, what about the panic? A lot of panic people here. I guess the ones who are comfortable did that maybe already, or maybe did 20 kilometers, and the stretch people, maybe they are running, but they said, okay, I could try it out. But the stress people, what if I give you $500? Anybody would go into the stretch zone, into the challenge zone? Ah, Dr. Shahid would go. Yeah, yeah. It is. I will take 500.
Yeah.
Then we will put more effort.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay. So maybe, so Tayaba, I need to talk to you a little bit more. So you say maybe. What if I add a personal trainer to you? Sure. Ah, then it becomes comfort. Oh, maybe not on day one, but okay. So I just want to show that you can get the people actually back um, into into the zone where you want them to have, where they stretch, where they are willing to learn something, where they are willing to risk a little bit, and where they are actually learning something. And this is what we are talking about. I want to expand my business and make a team. Ah, okay. Well, you can do that as well. And where's my here? And this is when we talk about let me hide all of that. Okay. The fixed mindset. All these sentences that are on there are signs for a fixed mindset. Now, we don't have people who are always a growth mindset or always a fixed mindset. We have both. I mean, we have reactions where we have a fixed mindset, and we have some have more growth mindset than others, but we all have tendencies to react in that way. I don't like to be challenged, or when I'm frustrated, I give up. I can do it or I cannot do it. We all tend to have that. And where's my growth mindset? Okay, my growth mindset doesn't want to show. Okay, whatever. And the big difference is the power of that word yet. And the word yet makes it possible to step out of the comfort zone and get into that learning, to get into that challenge zone, to make new and different experiences. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, I'm not good at this, I don't understand this, it doesn't make sense. We say, I don't understand this yet. Because it gives you the opportunity to say, it is possible, it's just not yet. What if we give the students a grade? Instead of failing them, we tell them, you have not passed yet. I think it would give all of you a better feeling if you're a student. You haven't passed yet means it is possible. You just need to put some more effort in. It's not devastating. It's not completely devastating. I failed this course. I'm so dumb. You can do it, but you haven't passed yet. And this word is just incorporating this word in your mind already leads to a bit of a growth mindset. And it is about telling yourself, here is my slide with the growth mindset, telling yourself a different story, telling yourself failure. I can learn from failure. It's an opportunity to learn, to go. I embrace challenges. I can train my brain. I learn from feedback. I'm inspired by success of others, and I can try it out as well. Failure is still a painful experience, right? Also in the growth mindset, failure is always painful, but we see it as an opportunity to grow. So the entrepreneurial mindset is to have a growth mindset, it's not possible, doesn't determine you. It's not possible, doesn't determine the outcome. And it is a choice we have. It's a choice you can do over and over again, many times a day, very often, every day. It's a new choice. And so the question is, you get up, which mindset do you choose? And and who who needs a growth mindset, and do we need it all the time? Because we're a mix of both mindsets, but it will change depending on the mood and the situation and the task. If you think about Kodak, the company that went under, I don't know, maybe they had a fixed mindset. They didn't embrace to move with the time. Um, and I think everybody needs a growth mindset. Everybody in business needs a growth mindset because we need to develop. We need to put effort in. And no matter what we do, even if we're non-entrepreneurs in a business, if we have a growth mindset, we find solutions. We can challenge ourselves. We can challenge our teams. And so I'm convinced that everybody needs a growth mindset. And as I said, failure is still painful, but it doesn't define you. It doesn't devastate you. It's a problem that occurs, and you deal with it and you learn from it. And I had a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes I made, and they hurt. They really hurt. But you learn from it. You don't, at least you don't try to make that mistake a second time because you took your lessons from it. And I turn a little bit to sport because I found that I was cycling actually for charity in Germany every year with people who participated in the Olympics and in world-class championships and different types of not cycling people. They did anything, biathlon, skiing, whatever they did, riding a horse. But they all had that mindset. They all had this growth mindset. A sports person will challenge themselves. If you were, I was doing track and field sports in a very high level in Germany in my teenage years. And jumping high is you try again, you try until you manage to get over that bar. And then you don't stop. You go and put it 2 centimeters higher. So you're always permanently in that challenge zone as a sports person. And I want to talk about her, among others. I have a second, and she's a long distance runner. And the mindset is, her mantra is, and it came from her mother, last will come first and first will come last. And she was the first women's marathon was in 1984, I think, in the 1980s. And she was representing US. And because it took place in the US runners started at the end of the field. So she was actually last to start. And she pulled through and came in first. So she was the first woman ever winning a women's marathon at the Olympics, 1984, the gold medal. And she held the fastest time for an American woman at the Chicago Marathon for 32 years and the Boston Marathon for 28 years. Now, she grew older in these 32 or 28 years, and that she could hold this fastest time. It was that mindset that she says, last will come first. That made her run and come in first. That's how she started out and how she challenged herself to do that. And she's a very extraordinary woman. And she ran her first marathon when she was 28. And I put down the times here for those who ever ran a marathon, 2:50. A year later, she ran Boston, age 22, 2:35, 15 minutes faster. And 2013, this is like a long time later, right? It is 2030. 33 years later, she still ran age 56 to 50, like her first marathon. She's still that fast because she has this mindset. And in age 62, she ran 3:04 in 2019. And the last date I found was age 65. She ran 3 hours 20. Well, we're not even getting close to those times, but it is this permanently challenging, permanently stretching, permanently saying, I can do it and I will do it. And going forward. And she says, I look at victory as milestones on a very long highway. She's a long distance runner. She's not a sprinter. It's not a sprint. To learning and to grow is a long highway. And she says, confidence is the belief in myself and my ability. And she says, you cannot run away from challenges. You have to run over them. You have to just work your way through them. You have to take the challenges. And it's not that she always succeeded. She failed. And every time I fail, I assume I would be a better person for it. And this is the way that that lets her run. And effort, it's effort, yes, but effort is necessary, but it's not sufficient for success and a growth mindset, because effort on its own is not the guarantee for success. So just being complacent because we did it will, not make you successful. And one big difference between the growth mindset and the fixed mindset is how we really think about failure. If we give up, and this is, I think, what we can take away from people who do sports. They all fail. They all know failure. They all didn't make it. They got fourth place, not number 1, 2, 3. That was my first experience in a competition. I was 5 years old. And I went to a competition and I made it number 4. And number 1, 2, 3, they're on the podium, right? I was number 4. And we drove back with a bus because we were all kids. And the people we did sports with, when we exited the bus, they said, okay, everybody wait. And we had 3 kids who were ranked 4. And so they celebrated us. And this is, I think, where I learned, okay, I felt failure for sure. I don't remember exactly, but I remember that they said, you did good. Next time you make it. And the only failure is giving up, is quitting. If you fail, you don't quit, you go right away. And Winston Churchill said, success is not failure, not final, and failure is not fatal. It depends on the courage to continue. And this is what is important. So you get up. If life knocks you down, you get up and you get going. And I think in business, this is more than true. If I think about the companies in the pandemic that in Bangkok, for example, had a restaurant in one of the malls, on the 7th floor in one of the malls, because all the restaurants are on floor 6 and floor 7 in that mall. I think about a specific mall here. They were shut down. They didn't even have a chance to do takeaway, because how do you get to the 6th or 7th floor when the mall is closed? How do you get your food, every food down there to the delivery point? It's just not possible. And these entrepreneurs, they still exist. They're still there. They found a solution. They were knocked down from one day to another. And one of them said, I had 3 very sleepless nights because we had 50 restaurants in malls. A chain here, a Thai chain, 50, and all of them closed. All of them with food, all of them, everything bought, all of them is going to be destroyed and no chance of delivery from one day to another. But they were knocked down. They found solutions. They found a restaurant in a discotheque, which was ground floor, and they delivered from that point. They all found solutions and they didn't quit. Some did, but the majority did not quit. And that's why I want to talk about competitiveness. And I know that I'm a very competitive person because I did a lot of sports. I know the sports people are, but I think it is part of the entrepreneurial mindset that you have to be competitive, because only one business can win the deal. If it's about a deal, for example, only one. One will surely lose. If it's 2, or 2 will lose, or 3 will lose, however many compete. And you have to be competitive to win. You have to want to win. And it's more than wanting. It is really more than wanting. It is, yeah, I don't know how to describe that. You have to love it. That's the passion. You have to love the competition, and you have to, and I talk about fair competition here. I don't talk about, the mistreacherous things and ways to get over your competitors. You have to want to win over your rivals or competitors, or however you call them, enemies, however you call them. And the question is, are you competitive enough? And I think that is a very, very essential part in that growth mindset, also in that entrepreneurial mindset, that you are triggered by things to find a solution. You're triggered by things to go ahead and take a step forward. And wanting to win is not enough is a book that is written, and this Lithuanian basketball player is actually not a star player. He is average from what he brings to the field, but he was in the Olympics. He holds Olympic medals. He won with the Lithuanian national team various gold medals, but not because he was just a super athlete. Every game he played, he said, okay, what did I do wrong? What can I do better next time? I'll try to do it better next time. He played again, and he said, okay, what did I do wrong? What can I do better? What can I try to do better? Okay, I try to do it better next time. He became a better player year by year, just by challenging himself and saying, okay, here I have to improve. Here I have to improve. And that's how he became actually a star player with average qualities he was given. And that's why he's a good example for why everybody can develop that growth mindset. And it's not about aggression towards whatever competitors or towards others. It is about fairness. It is about sportsmanship. It's about fair play. And that's what's important for the competitiveness. And it's not winning over someone by all means. It is winning. You have to be able to look into the mirror. Even if if you're an entrepreneur, there's a lot of challenges that come, questions that come to you. Do you do that to get that contract? And if you're desperate and you start thinking about it, are you going to do that? And we were once asked, if you want to get that contract. It was actually Berlin, and Berlin was when it was still the island in the middle of East Germany. West Berlin was a very, very bad kind of business culture. They were taking bribes, they were getting paid for everything. They were very, very known for that. And so it was from Berlin that we were asked who is going to buy the BMW for the government official who is in charge of that project. And I called my dad. My dad was an entrepreneur as well in a different industry. And I said, what would you do? And he said, I was once asked to buy 4 tires for a car, and I did that. And I couldn't sleep for nights. I couldn't sleep for nights. You have to make your decision if you are able to look into the mirror and say it is okay or not. And so competitiveness is also being authentic person. And I found that honesty and truthfulness are part of the entrepreneurial behavior that are essential. So we did not buy that BMW. We did not get that contract. This guy had a BMW afterwards, and we know who delivered the bricks. So we actually have an idea who bought that BMW. But that is competition should not be done with all means. And a growth mindset is working on yourself, on your own development of skills, of your personality, and you have to be able to live with what you do. That's what I want to say. And never say never, because limits, like for example, fears, are often just illusions. And all the sports people stand as good examples for a growth mindset. So I'm at the end of this, and I would like to have a discussion or a lot of chat. This is probably still with regard to the
Great. Wonderful.
examples. Okay, now you can ask. I can also answer the examples. What differentiates a growth mindset and a fixed mindset? You saw the two hats. And if I say I cannot do it, if I say I'm not able to, if I say for example, I give my students an assignment when I do the growth mindset, and they have to do entries 30 days. They have to do an entry when they experience a fixed mindset. And very often it's something, my dad says something to me and I get mad. Very often it's things like that. And the reaction is that they get angry. They, I don't know, slam the door or whatever they do. And this is a fixed mindset. And you can try to turn that around and say, how can I formulate differently? You don't say, I cannot do it, but you can say, I cannot do it yet, but I can try to do it. Already you switch to a growth mindset. Even if your first thought is, I cannot do it. The second thought should be, hey, I should try to do it. Maybe next time I should really, really at least try it out. And we're already on the way to a growth mindset. And I think it's very small, small things in daily life where we experience this fixed mindset. We have these triggers that we say some challenges, for example, change in a business, triggers that we complain. Or let's say I make a mistake. That's the trigger. I make a mistake. Now I say I blame others, for example. That's fixed mindset. It's a symptom. Or I feel like a victim, or I avoid to take a risk. Very often I talk about the past. We tried that before and it didn't work. That's a typically fixed mindset reaction. We tried it before in that business and it didn't work. You don't know how often I heard that from employees who've been with the company for 30 plus years. And we wrote a paper at some point and we said these 3 sentences are forbidden. One of them was, we tried it before and it didn't work. We wrote it down, said it's forbidden to use that because it doesn't help us. We'll have to find a solution. We have to do it somehow, and we have to do it better than we did it the 100 years before. The company was 100 years old when I joined. And it doesn't mean that everything was right the last 100 years. So we have to be open. Technology changes, the market changes, my customer changes. That is the difference here. And many of us give up just if they experience a fixed mindset. They say, "Oh, okay, I cannot, so I go away from it."
I have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding the importance of passion, that how much it is important to be a successful or good entrepreneur. Because according to my experience, when I was doing my master's thesis, and that topic was not of my interest, I was doing this because of my supervisor. And at some point, I gave up because it was, for me, it was very difficult, and discussed with my co-supervisor that I'm not able to do it. And I was almost giving up on that. And she said, no, I think you can do it. You should do it. And that 10 minutes talk, then because of her encouragement, I did it. And I did it successfully. I got 5 of 5.
Yeah.
5 out of 5. This is
so
the one.
You experienced that fixed mindset, and fortunately you had someone who talked to you because apparently
yes, that's why I'm talking. Yes, and the second experience is the second challenge I got last year during my PhD studies, and it was again with the software tool. And when you're running the analysis, you're not getting results or something, you are just stressed. But this is the topic of my interest. I have inner drive to solve it. I make it possible without the motivation or external validation of my supervisor or any person. At that time I did not need it. So the major difference I find that passion and interest. I was interested for my PhD topic, so I did it in any case. But for master's topic, I needed external validation. So it means that we should do that thing that we want, or there we need something in to change in our mind.
I mean, if we do what we want, it is probably easier if it's something
वो
we
बोलते हैं
want.
ग्रोथ माइंडसेट क्या होता है? एक बंदा होता है कि मैंने आगे तरक्की कैसे करनी है, आगे कैसे बढ़ना है.
But if it's something we like, if we have the passion for it, or it's something we love to do, it makes it easier.
Yes.
Definitely, we will still experience fixed mindset and backlashes,
Yes.
and all of that. But we can set a learning goal, and we have to tell ourselves the story a little bit differently, and we can choose tasks that are just a little bit, just a little bit outside our comfort zone. It doesn't have to be a lot, but a little bit, because any step we take out there is a way of learning. But if we like to do something, I think we probably are more open, and maybe we have more of a growth mindset, but not everything we do is probably what we like. So
Yes.
I mean, the fixed mindset you experience with for the students, it's very often their parents. Actually, it's the parents say something, and I had one student in the pandemic, and he says, all of my 30 entries are about my dad, because my dad works from home. I work from home. We never saw each other before, and every day we have a clash. And he worked on that for 30 days, how to solve that, how to change his mindset. And he actually was really, really good at the end. He found a way how to deal with that, and how to respond to that fixed mindset, that he just got angry and he was just, mad at his dad, and how he could understand suddenly his dad. So we can learn it in many ways, in a personal life as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Someone
I have a question
raised
here,
their hand.
Uli.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you so very much for this wonderful session. It was very insightful. Thank you so very much for your time and for the presentation. My question is around the ikigai part of your presentation, in which you said that you should know your passion, and uh, I mean, you should find a way to get paid for that. But the question here is, what if you don't get paid for what you like to do? You should change your passion or something, or you
No,
should
you should
still
find a way. Don't change your
you should
passion.
still
Find a way for
okay.
what you can be paid. And there are many ways how you can be paid. I would always say, what you love to do, what you're good at, all the skills you have, and if it's something the world needs, those are the four, and then you get paid for it. And you can find, if you have the three, the love you have for something and the skills, you're good at that, and you will find a way how you can get paid for it. I'm 100% convinced about that. I mean, there are usually exercises we do for that, how you can try it out, but it's just not possible to do that here in an online setting, unfortunately. I would think about
Okay,
very
maybe in some
open
other session.
about what can
Yeah.
generate money.
Okay. And the second part of the question is that how do entrepreneurs deal with self-doubts? You know your passion, but sometimes self-doubts strike you that maybe you are not good at it. Maybe the world is not going to accept it. Maybe you cannot get paid for it. Maybe you should try something else. I mean, there are thousands of self-doubts which strikes you sometime when you are trying to do something, when you are trying to follow your passion and trying to make your mark. There are, I mean, some sort of hurdles which are inside battles. So how do the entrepreneurs deal with those battles, when those challenges?
Okay, thank you. So we have, yes.
Should I answer first?
Yes,
Quickly?
yes.
We have a German, actually a tale, and I think that's very much applies for entrepreneurs. There is this nobleman who has a ponytail, and he is sinking. He is in a, I don't know the English word for where we have the muddy water where you sink in, and he's sinking in with his horse. He's thinking in like kind of a mud. It has a different.
को क्या कहते हैं? दलदल, what is
Doesn't
called?
matter.
Swamp,
He's
swamp.
sinking in. What this nobleman does is he pulls his ponytail and he pulls himself out. And I think that's the only thing. You have to find a way to pull yourself out of this. You have a lot of, it helps if you have someone you can talk to. I have to say that. But you will have friends who will not understand your problem. All of my best friend, my oldest friend, she doesn't understand. She never understood my problems in my business, and I would have never discussed them with her because she was never an entrepreneur, and she's so far away from being an entrepreneur. They don't understand you. And so if you have another entrepreneur, if you have someone to talk to, that helps. It can be a different industry. For me, I found it helped to be part of Junior Chamber International. They exist in every country. That's young entrepreneurs and young professionals, and because they have the same problems.
Great.
Doesn't matter which industry.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you.
Kari Atta, you have a question? We'll just take 1-2 more questions before the time is almost.
ये मेरा भी क्वेश्चन है, अगर मुझे इजाजत दे तो मैं भी.
Kari Atta, can you introduce yourself, please? Please introduce yourself.
Yes. First of all, thanks for giving me chance to ask a question. My name is Atar Rahman, and I am doing Bachelor in Business Administration. And my first question is, in the era of artificial intelligence, how we can grow as in future we have HR or any administration which the AI has to do, but how we can grow in the era of artificial intelligence? Please elaborate.
Thank you very much, Atar Rahman.
How you can grow in artificial intelligence, the business, or by using it?
In business.
You just have to find out how to apply it. I think that's a technology that comes. That's a change, and you have to see what you can do with it. I don't know. You cannot beat AI, but there are some things where we still need in reflection and in things like that. We're still more advanced than AI, but you have to follow technological changes. You cannot beat them. And I think you have to, no matter which business you're in, it doesn't matter. You'll have to embrace it. I think we cannot say we fight it or we don't use it. I use it with my students because I want them to use it in a way that they don't copy paste.
Great.
I don't know. Really, that's just it's just technological change. Like the internet came and changed everything. Like it's just another change that appears a very drastic change. But as an entrepreneur, you have to go with it. You cannot, just ignore it or.
Okay, so there's another participant. Mute karta rahiye please. Yusuf is asking, I have done 4 years bachelor's in accounting, but I don't like it. So I have quit it now. So Yusuf, can you tell more? And he says, I have wasted 4 years in the university. How can I change my thoughts? Which is a fixed mindset.
Yeah, that's a fixed mindset. That's for sure a fixed mindset. And number one is I don't think anything is wasted because it doesn't matter what you study. Actually, it really doesn't matter what you study. It's maybe not quite right, but there's so many opportunities. I studied ceramic design. Okay, I went into ceramic production, but I also ended up in automotive production, and now I'm teaching. And I think any topic that we know more, think about what you can do with it. Maybe think about what your passion is and how can you combine accounting with a passion or something you love to do. I mean, it doesn't hurt to be good in finance and in an accounting if you want to be an entrepreneur. That doesn't hurt at all. And so I would always make a list. This is all I know. This is all my skills I have. And who I know and what I know. I would write that all of that down, the skills, and accounting is one of them. And you maybe are good in a certain type of accounting. You're good at that. What do I love to do? And then we just work on how can I combine that with something? You don't have to become an accountant. Even if you studied accounting, there are other opportunities that you can become. I won't just put all the options on the table. We built something called Passion Cube. Maybe I share that. Do you know that, Dr. Shahid? The Passion Cube exercise? That's actually a good exercise to work with the passion and the skills. But it's free. That's definitely not for online. But we work with the passions and think about how can we combine the passion with the skill. And accounting seems to be at least something you know about, and there are more skills you have. Maybe you're good at a language, or maybe you're good at something else, and you put all that on the table, and then you try to figure out what could be a good solution, even for starting a business.
Wonderful. That's a good answer. I remember one of my old colleague, he did his master's in accounting. He was working as an accountant, and due to his family problems, he had to join his family business, and now he's selling milk. He's doing a milk shop.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and he's applying those accounting principles there, excellence, hard work, and recording. So things can. So one more question is coming from Saeed Awan. He is a senior guy. Saeed Awan Saab, shall I read it for you, or will you like to talk?
No, the
I
competitor,
would
right?
like to
It's
talk,
beating
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Actually, that's the situation we faced 25 years, that competitors were beating us and we were beating them. And what I decided at that point is to go into that market niche, to be a little bit in a smaller competitive field. So you don't have to change the full business segment, but you should also, and someone wrote, check the weakness of your competitors. I totally agree with that one, because find out where is, I always did competitive analysis. I always knew exactly where they were better than I, but I attacked them where they were weak. And because you cannot, if they're better than you, it takes so much effort, but where they have a weakness, you can attack them. And I always found a weakness. Any weakness. Some just didn't go out and talk to the customers. I could always beat them because I went out, saw my customers. Even though they had a better position, the product was maybe the same, but you can find and attack them there. And that's what I would do. And I would think about not the business segment, but within is there a market niche? Also, for smaller businesses, it's always good to find a certain segment. But we didn't change it. It was part of our portfolio. It was not a new segment. It was part of our portfolio. We just skipped others and said we're not producing that anymore.
Sir, one more question. Can I speak?
Okay.
Sir, how we can gauge our passion?
Your passion.
Yeah.
You don't know what your passion is.
Actually, I'm confused with many things. From what activities I can gauge my passion?
Your passion comes from the two things, and I can put that slide up again, because actually the Ikigai explains it quite well. Where is it, the share here? And I just have to go back to that slide.
Yes, please.
Let me just go back to that. Here. The passion comes from what you love to do and what you're good at. This is the overlap of these two, is the passion. That's what Ikigai explains. It's passion is something you love to do and you're good at it. And that's where you develop the passion. And so it's something, and I cannot help you with what you love to do and what you're good at, but the overlap of both is your passion. So maybe you have to
If I'm
think
not
about,
good, if I'm not,
if you're not good, you're muted.
if I'm not
Maybe.
good at some activities, but which is my passion, and the other is giving me more business to what should I choose?
Again, can you repeat it,
You
please?
got the point?
Yeah, repeat
I
it.
didn't understand.
If my passion is not productive for me, should I go for other or should I stick to my passion?
Your passion is what? I didn't.
Is
Did
not
someone understand?
productive in the form of finance, in the form of business.
I'm not sure
He's
what
saying
you.
that if I am making money from something which I'm not passionate about,
Oh,
shall I still
oh,
continue or follow my passion? Yeah.
sure. But this is for many people who are in business. Like I went into that family business, fourth generation, and I had a colleague who said, "What do you want to, Uli? What do you want to do with bricks?" I mean, I became really passionate about that product, and but I was not passionate at the beginning about that, to that business at all. And but you can choose. How can you, for example, I studied design, and everybody said, even when we closed the pottery, people said, how come this is your child? You build it up for 15 years and it's your designs and it's what you love to do. And I said, I'm here. And my passion to design things or to create things, I could all integrate in the other businesses we had. I could come up with crazy ideas. We did them. We did a lot of crazy things, completely different from the rest of the industry. But this is because I put my passion from what I like to do into that business. And I found ways to integrate it into that business. But we did very creative events in the production with colorful themes and a lot of crazy things actually that no other brick manufacturer did. But that was my passion. I could put in, and it led to customer relationships, to long-term customer relationships. It was very helpful. So I think about take your passion and can you find something in the business where you can put the passion in?
Okay, can I ask a question?
Ji Athar, so maybe the last one, okay? Yes.
Okay. My question is about multitasking. Like I do 2-3 works, different works at the same time, like attending call of a customer, checking email, doing multiple things at one time. Na? Sometimes it creates too much stress. Sometimes not. So do you think the habit of multitasking is a good habit, or one should do one work at one time?
I didn't quite understand everything, but multitasking is, I mean, for me, it was always easy. My husband, for example, he is not able to multitask at all. He has to, he gets crazy if he has like 3 things at a time. And for me, it's like I have like several layers that can work, I feel like independently at the same time. If you're not a I mean, it can make you crazy if it's too much, right? And then you have to find a structure for yourself. And I also found structures, like I still do that. If you see my calendar, everything is in my calendar because I just organize it to a certain extent to not have it all at the same time. If I say this can wait, and a friend who was an entrepreneur as well, he said every morning he took 5 minutes to write down all the things he had to do on that day. He had in his mind he had to do, and he wrote them down on a piece of paper. And then he looked at it and says, okay, this, I'm going to do in that order. And so we have to find a structure to probably organize that for you, because multitasking is a normal thing if you are an entrepreneur, because